Before we start the podcast, we want to take the time to say if you like us, please follow, like, comment on SoundCloud, like, comment on YouTube, subscribe, rate, and comment on iTunes. It really helps us out, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome to Anime Cherry Bomb, the #1 anime podcast in most parallel worlds. I am the masochist crusader himself, Aaron. Along with me is the mage who only loves explosions, Jay.
I am Jay.
How's it going, Jay?
It's going good. How are you, Aaron?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, we had a fun week this week.
It was really good. Easy.
Yeah, easy watch.
This week.
Mm-hmm. So do you want to give us the synopsis?
But first, what are we discussing today, Jay?
I know.
Before we even
That'd be nice to know for our viewers,
exactly.
Our listeners, I should say, not viewers. We're discussing Konosuba, God's blessing on this wonderful world. A very long title.
Very long title. That's why it's just Konosuba is the shortened name.
Yeah, just calling it Konosuba. There's actually an anime on my list of stuff to review that's even longer than that.
Oh, I have one on my list I want to see who has the longest one. So let's start with the synopsis.
Mm-hmm.
So Konosuba follows Saito Kazuma and his band of useless party members as they try to defeat the Demon King and his generals, while also trying to make a dent in their ever-accumulating debt.
Yeah, that's pretty much basically what it's about.
Yeah.
I mean, they do get into a lot of debt. I mean, in the millions.
It's like it's always one step forward, like,
and two steps back.
Like 8 steps back.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like, oh, they defeat a Demon King general, but like, oh well, but now you're $40 million heiress in debt.
Yeah. All right. So do you want me to?
Yeah. So hit us with some facts.
All right. So Konosuba, God's blessing on this wonderful world. I always want to say beautiful world, but it's wonderful world. Is a fantasy comedy anime released in 2016, so it's pretty new. There are 20 episodes and there are 2 OVAs. It's based on the web novel series written by Natsume Akatsuki, and she also goes by Jita Kokebihai. I guess that's maybe her pen name.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I think it's a girl, and that's interesting if it is a girl that wrote this.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not. Well, since it is a parody anime, it's like I don't think it would be even hard to. It's like, oh, it's like crapping on the how ecchi things get and how.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I can
the perversion of main characters.
Uh-huh.
And how like Kazuma's a complete piece of scum. In like every sense of the word.
I guess I could see that a girl could write a guy like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was directed by Takaomi Kanasaki, and he's directed other animes such as Is This a Zombie?, Tokyo Ravens, and the 2nd season of School Rumble.
So Is This a Zombie? Also a really, I've mentioned it before, also a really great parody anime. Yeah. That'll be on the list too.
That's on your list, right?
Yeah, it's on my list.
So the studio was Dean. I've never heard of this studio. And they've done stuff like Get Backers, which is pretty old anime. Hetalia Wars, and You're Under Arrest, which is another super old anime.
Yeah, and then also Is This a Zombie?
Oh, yeah.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this was licensed by good old Crunchyroll. And the music was done by Masato Korda. And he's done anime such as Rosen Maidens, Knights in Magic, Maria the Virgin Witch. Have you ever heard of any of these?
Yeah, Maria the Virgin Witch is okay. It's fine.
So the first and second opening theme is performed by Machiko, and she's done anime such as Uma Musume. Oh my God.
Uma Musume.
Yeah, Pretty Derby. Rio's Work Is Never Done, and 12. I put this anime because it's really hard to say. 12 Sai Chikchan Namune Tokameki, and she done the 2nd season for that anime. And The first and second ending themes are performed by the main female cast: Sora Amamiya, which is Aqua; Rei Takahashi, which is Megumi. Megumin, sorry, and Ai Kayano, which is Darkness.
Okay. So which one of those is your favorite opening and favorite ending?
I really like both of the second season.
But the second season, the opening and ending are really strong.
Yeah, but I really like this ending of the second season.
Yeah, really. I think
really
it's
good.
the strongest of all the songs.
Mhm.
It's probably that one. It's the most soothing of all of them.
Yeah, I really like that slow drum beat
Yeah.
that persists throughout the whole thing.
It's almost. I know I said earlier. It's kind of like folky in a way, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
It's like a nice, like campfire, almost like a campfire song.
Oh yeah. Like out on the prairie kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. What did you think of the background music?
Oh, it's very fitting. I actually watched a video about the music, and it's very interesting how like the cuts that they use, like for comedic effect.
Yeah, I really love like serious music, and then it cut to like silly music,
Yeah.
and then cut back into serious music,
Mhm.
or like the emphasis of the joke. Like the music is in on the joke,
Yeah.
and it's really great. That's really great direction.
Yeah. The video I watched was called Konosuba's Music is Funny Too, and it was a very interesting video. And one of the ones that he one of the examples that he given of like really good like techniques of cutting like the music is when Aqua was like when they first got the mansion, and she was like explaining like whoever lived in it, and there was like some like it wasn't really dramatic music, but it was like some
Serious.
yeah, like serious music, and then they just like forget about her and they just go back into the house, and then when Kazuma opens the window and she's still out there,
And the music cuts back in.
It cuts back in. Yeah, it's really good. It's really
and then
strong.
he shuts the window and the music stops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually I had that in my notes too.
Mm-hmm.
I really love that effect. I also really like how it feels. A lot of the music does feel like a JRPG,
Oh yeah.
like they're in an RPG world type of
Mhm.
music. Like
Yeah, something you would hear in like a Final Fantasy game or something like that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That it gave me like a lot of like weird nostalgia
Mm-hmm.
for like a lot of the serious music in here.
Yeah, I could see that. Like when Megumin is first introduced and she's like explaining how badass she is, and then she kills over because of her hunger.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so for cross media, there's the light novel, there's the manga, and I think you were telling me that there's like a bunch of
Yeah,
like
a bunch
spin-off.
of spin-off light novels.
yeah.
There's one like about Mega Man and her growing up
Yeah.
at school. There's another one with Darkness. Not really sure what that one's about.
Probably with her being royalty or something.
Yeah,
Like
or her fammy being top tier.
that. Mm-hmm.
And then there's a third one. I just don't remember what it is off the top of my head right now.
Okay. So along with that, there's a few PC games. One is an RPG, and there's another one that's actually a Mega Man clone. Have you ever seen any of these games?
No.
And thankfully, there's English patches for both of them.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. So I actually tried to play the Mega Man one, but the English patch wasn't really working. So I think I'm just gonna download the Japanese one and play it because I don't think it's that important for that game. And I'm actually gonna learn how to speedrun it. It's very
Yo, that's tight.
yeah. So hopefully I'll be good enough so I could submit it to like a marathon or something. And there's also some visual novel games for the the Vita and the PS4. And I think the Vita it's the same game, but I think the Vita version has a patch for watching or doing it in English.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's what I read on one website, but I'm not 100% sure of how that would work.
Well, if it's a like if they released it in Asia, a lot of Asian countries do speak English, so they released the English version. I forgot what it is. I think it's like English C versions. So like Southeast Asia,
Okay.
they will release English stuff. That's why like some Japanese games do get official English text.
Yeah.
Like I know one that I really want to get is like this game. It's called Summer Lessons. It's a VR game,
Oh, okay.
and that you can buy it in English, but you have to import it from like Malaysia or
Oh,
somewhere.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes to get like the physical version or something like that, you'd have to import it from some crazy place.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I know the Rappa PS4 game, you'd have to get it from like China or something like
Or if
that
you want a physical copy.
if you want a physical copy.
Oh, that's kind of whack.
Yeah. But do you know what the visual novel game is about?
No.
So I guess it's Kazuma finds a cursed ring or something like that, and he puts it on. I think he puts it on, and it gives him the power to like steal like panties from every girl or something like that. And I guess the story is him trying to return all the panties to all the girls.
What the hell? All right.
It's something like that. And there are also 2 drama CDs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's all I really have. Do you have any? Do you know of any
Other
more cross-media stuff?
Not that I know of.
There's toys. Obviously, there's body pillows and stuff
Yeah,
like
body
that.
pillow. A lot of.
I saw a nice backpack.
Yeah, there's a lot of Figmas. A lot
Mhm.
of.
I know you showed me one earlier in the week.
Yeah, the Aqua Figmas.
Yeah.
A lot of little toys and stuff.
Mhm.
It's that's why I'm like really surprised because there's so much stuff you can buy from it, but like we were waiting for a 3rd season and it still isn't here.
Yeah.
And like it sells.
Mhm.
Like I've heard recently that the books, like they consistently sell over like 500,000,
Yeah.
that's a lot of.
Yeah, and the total is like in the millions.
Exactly. So please give us a 3rd season.
Yeah.
I heard it's coming.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very excited for when we
Yeah.
get
Hopefully,
to review
it's
that.
like later this year or early next year or
Early-
something like that.
I'm hoping really.
All right.
Or
So,
it could be. It also could. What they be hinting at could be a movie.
oh yeah,
So
that's a possibility.
which also would be pretty cool. But
Mhm.
I want a series.
Yeah. You want more time with the characters.
Exactly.
All right. So do you want to talk about anything in general before we get into the topics?
Yes. So the one thing I really like about this anime is like the background comments that Kazuma makes.
Yeah, I wrote that too. I actually love that he gives like side commentary on other people's conversations or conversation that he's in.
Yeah, exactly. And just like he's just like, hi, yes,
Hi,
I
Yes.
don't know.
Kazuma-san this.
Yeah, exactly. That joke, like, to me, never gets old. It carries on into the 2nd season.
Yeah.
And I think it happens a lot more often, too, in the 2nd season.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as strong
Yeah.
as, like, the characters are just, like, yammering on, and he's, like, just inserting his own little
Thoughts into
comments.
it. Yeah.
I really love Kazuma's stance on gender equality,
Oh yeah.
where he's like,
Yeah, it's really strong.
yeah, where he's like, I believe in gender equality and I will drop kick a female.
Yeah.
And then I also love like that quote gets brought up in season 2 when
Megumin is they're
Basically-
fighting for the bath, right?
no, so well that too, but it's when they're throwing Cosmo underneath the bus
Oh, okay.
when he's getting arrested,
Mm-hmm.
and first Aqua's like, oh yeah, I heard him say that, go ahead and teleport it. I'll handle what it
Yeah.
was. And then Megumin goes, oh yeah, and he said that he believed in gender equality and he was gonna drop kick women.
Yeah.
Very, very strong.
One thing that I really like is that they cuss in this anime.
Yeah, and they translate it.
Yeah. It's very, very vulgar language that they use sometimes. I like how Kazuma's sword is like always looks like puny and pathetic.
Oh, it's just like almost like a dagger.
Yeah, but not really.
Yeah, it's a really, really short sword.
Yeah.
You mean Chunsuke?
Yeah.
Chun Mosuke, or whatever it is.
Do you have any dislikes about the anime that you want to talk about?
Not really. I really really liked it. I don't think it's a perfect anime by any stretch,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't really have any really negative things to say about it.
Okay.
I don't know if you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything. It's a very strong anime. Very I don't know.
Very-
it's just very good.
Very, very funny.
Yeah.
All right. So art and cinematography. Uh, I really love the strong character design in this anime.
Yeah, it's the great use of colors. Everything looks fantastic in this anime.
Even the costume design is really, really well done.
Yeah.
I was mentioning to you before, I really wish they had more alternate costumes,
Yeah.
because like their winter clothes were like really, really cool.
Yeah, I
So
really like that.
I really liked Megumin's like winter coat, her
Yeah.
white, and had like red details in it.
Yeah, trim.
Yeah, and then she had like a different a hat too.
Yeah.
Her hat was more laid back.
Mhm.
I love how all of them have their own unique nightgowns too.
Oh yeah.
That's a really, really cool detail.
Mhm.
I also told you like it's really cool if you take away a piece of their design and it makes them look different or
Yeah.
seem different. So like you take away Megumin's cape and like it kind of changes the whole outfit.
Yeah, I really like her without her cape. It looks really nice.
Yeah, and then like it would be darkness without her chest plate.
Oh yeah.
Like
Sometimes is it like a button-up shirt that she has under there?
sometimes, yeah. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's just like a looks like a thermal almost.
Oh yeah, it's black.
Yeah.
It's always black.
Um,
I really like that even like the background characters are like designed as well.
yeah, they're all really I think everyone's like really well designed. I think
Mhm.
the only anime I can recall that really does it better is like My Hero.
Yeah, and I think you said Little Witch.
Oh, Little
Academy.
Witch does it all. Yeah,
Yeah.
also too, where everybody is not costume design is different, but character design is different.
Yeah.
And personally, I think that's a lot harder to do.
Yeah.
So that's why like My Hero is also a step above it, because My Hero has
Like people with different quirks, and they have like drastically different appearances. And
yeah,
such.
exactly. And then you just see like, oh, that's a shark man.
Yeah, there's a shark man in the audience, and there's some guy with horns over there.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, I really love just like you said, the colors.
Yeah.
Really pop
Mhm.
from each character.
Yeah, I really like the effect of when like they're using powers, like when Megumin does an explosion and those like circle
All those
ring
glyphs.
things.
Yeah. That I actually that like anytime she does an explosion,
Mhm.
like those rings are like you see like the source of magic
Yeah.
like swirling inside of her.
Mhm.
Like that's really dope.
Yeah.
Or even when like Kazuma gets a new skill.
Oh yeah.
and they show that reused animation of the helix, the DNA helix
Mhm.
mutating.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Aqua's all of her special moves
Yeah.
with her god blow and the sacred turn undead,
Mhm.
and even nature's beauty is a
Yeah.
really cool looking move.
You know what's funny is in that Mega Man clone game, I don't know what the concept of the game is, like the story, but I think you play as Kazuma and you fight Aqua and Megumin and Darkness, and then I think the big bad is the Dullahan. But once you beat Aqua, that water's blessing thing is the power you get from her.
I wish it did nothing. It's just like
It's actually super overpowered from what I
that's-
watched.
That sucks. I
Yeah.
kind of wish it was like useless.
And obviously you get Megumin's explosion, and Darkness is the most interesting to me. It's kind of like a shield, like you could walk through enemies and stuff, and you get health back when you get hit.
Yeah, that's tight.
But your magic gradually
Oh.
decreases when you're using it.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
That's super neat. The cinematography in this anime, I think even the direction of this anime is also really, really strong.
Yeah.
I know we usually don't talk about direction. Oh, we do talk about direction, but we add it in cinematography a
Yeah.
lot of times. And oh my goodness, just like how different things are foreshadowed is really cool.
Oh yeah.
Like how they foreshadowed the destroyer
Mm-hmm.
through like weird ways. How that's like I think it's like in episode 5 or like 5, like midway through the series.
Yeah.
They go like, "Oh, observe a destroyer," and like Cosmo's like, "What's a destroyer?" And he's like,
yeah.
"Oh, it's just like this weird spider creature that for some reason kids love."
Yeah.
And then like I think episode 9, before the destroyer shows up, Aqua's all drunk, and she's like, "Oh, look at my impression of a destroyer." And then like at that point, Cosmo's like, "I still don't know what a destroyer is."
Yeah.
So, but apparently she does it like very, very well. There's also really cool. At the end of the first season, you see Chris in Wiz's shop holding up the collar.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be the MacGuffin in the
OVA.
in the OVA, which is also really, really cool.
Yeah.
You have really early on in the series, in the second season, you get Darkness talking about how she's a follower of
the Eris.
the Eris Guild.
Yeah.
And Eris religion.
Mm-hmm.
And then like she keeps bringing it up, and then it pays off, at the end of the at the end of the season,
mm-hmm.
where they're in Aqua's religion's territory, and it's just like hilarity really ensues for like just like they didn't even have to bring up that fact like so early. Like it's so weird that they have that in your mind, and they want you to know about it.
Yeah, I think that you've mentioned that they say it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, they bring it up in different instances in different episodes.
Yeah,
and like when I first watched, I was like, I noticed like, they keep bringing up this fact. Like, what's the reason they want us to know this? And then they just bring it up.
Yeah,
at
the end.
Yeah, it was really great joke building.
Yeah.
I also really liked the expensive. I wrote in my notes it was expensive. The expensive hand animation they did
of when he's like trying to do the steel thing. I just did it for Aaron right now.
Yeah, exactly. And like it's just like a bunch of weird hand movements, but it's like really, really well done.
Yeah.
And you can like they spent feels like a lot of budget on just that hand movement.
Well, they use it a couple times, so
so they eventually pays off.
Yeah.
But
they'll probably use it in the future seasons as well.
Oh yeah, of course. There's like a bunch of like a lot of Megaman's explosion stuff they reuse.
Mm-hmm. Which those have great cinematography when she explodes something.
Yeah, I really,
especially in the second season when it's like more powerful.
Yeah, exactly. I also really love. I guess you can bring this up later, but it's like eventually Megaman's like next step is like, oh, I can cast 2 now.
Oh, okay.
Like she's gonna be pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other? Oh, another one of my favorite shots is when they're facing the Winter Shogun.
Oh yeah.
And Cosmo gets his head chopped off.
Uh-huh.
And the way they convey his head getting chopped off is like it's a POV shot.
Uh-huh.
And you hear the sword swinging, and then the camera rotates.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like you don't know that his head got chopped off,
but
if you look at that visual cue of the head falling and then going dark, it's like, oh, he got his head chopped off.
Yeah,
it's a really, really strong way to showing you instead of just like actually showing you the gruesome thing of his head getting cut off. And I really like how they show when they come back. And he's like, oh, yeah, you got your head chopped off. And he looks over where his body was, and it's just a pool of blood.
Yeah. That's what I thought you were referring to, is that the pool of blood.
No, yeah. And then, there's also one of my favorite directing shots is it's when Aqua is explaining Kazuma about how the world works or, like, who she is.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's, like, a big, like, spotlight on her.
Uh-huh.
And then, like, she gets, like, this big grandiose speech. And then, like, she ends. And the spotlight turns off, and you can hear the clicking of the spotlight turning off.
Oh yeah.
And then she goes back to being like regular stupid Aqua.
One thing, speaking of Aqua, I really like when she does that God Punch attack, especially that final one in the end of the second season.
Yeah.
It's like it's pretty badass.
I know how it just ends with the big one. I really liked how they did it in the OVA when we just watched it right now.
Yeah.
It also looked pretty cool.
Yeah, when she was like fighting off the doll things, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And then the last thing I have on here is the visual metaphor of Wiz at the River of Styx.
Oh yeah. And
like how like she doesn't even understand
what it means.
Yeah. And just I just love it. Like it's like her walking through the fog, and then she sees the Dullahan on the other
Yeah.
side just waving to her.
Verdia or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
No, well, Veneer is
Veneer's the mask guy.
the mask guy. It's like something with the V, right? I just
Yeah.
forget what it is. But he's like, "Come over here."
Yeah. But they explained that he's kind of like a creepy guy.
Yeah.
Always rolling his head under her dress.
Yes. Oh, he's like, "Oh, I dropped my head." Oh my god.
And then when they show the body, it looks like he just did like a bowling kind of like position.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
I also enjoyed Darkness's like exaggerated moans when
Yeah, exactly.
it's really funny.
Like that like those kind of shots like really remind me of like Ichi anime, like
Oh yeah.
akin to Monster Musume, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
like really over exaggerated like moans
Yeah.
and stuff.
And then like one that like I don't know if this one was a moan, but when Aqua lifts the curse off of Darkness, that whole like she was like sparkling and there was like the sun was like shining and stuff.
Oh, you see the curse like being lifted out of her.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. So I think we should go. Let's go least favorite characters first.
Okay.
So, one of my least favorite characters is Chris. I feel.
Really?
Yeah. The only reason why I picked Chris is because we don't really get much of her.
Yeah.
We only get to see her like in this third episode, where
Mhm.
like she's like
Teaching
mainly in it teaching Kazuma
the steel.
the steel, and then she just plays like bit parts like
Yeah.
from then on,
Mhm.
like where she always only just gets her panties stolen and
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, mine's like a similar thing. It's Kyoya. This is the other guy that was resurrected into the
Yeah,
like-
Mitsurugi.
yeah.
I also have him down on mine also.
Yeah.
His joke, this episode that he's in, and the joke that he fulfills is
Yeah.
pretty funny. But like you said, like he's there for a second, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Until we just watch the OVA and he's
He's there
makes
again.
a cameo.
Mm-hmm.
But like I would have. Oh, he also makes a cameo later on in the end of the season when they're just going through what everybody's doing, and like he's in the mine doing mine work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I also this this is like the one where it's like our least favorite characters because there's still not that they're strong characters, that just the jokes that they have are strong.
Yeah.
Of like when the Dullahan goes there, they're like, oh well, Mitsurugi's coming, he's gonna save us, and
Yeah.
just Cosmo like, oh no, he's not coming. But yeah, I left much to be desired.
Yeah.
With that character.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's all I have.
Yeah. I only had him as my least
All right, so let's go
favorite.
favorite characters. So this is the block where we talk about the party.
Yeah.
I am assuming. So let's start with Kazuma.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, we should start prefacing with like everybody's a horrible character,
Yeah.
or not a horrible character as
Horrible person.
they're a horrible person. Yeah, they're
Or
horrible people. I think last week, I don't know if I said it on the podcast last week. I might have, but I said like a lot of people call this Seinfeld the anime.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, it's exact because like Seinfeld's about horrible people in
Mhm.
funny situations,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing. It's the horrible people in funny situations,
Uh-huh.
and when you start thinking like, oh no, like I think the one who's like the least horrible person is probably
Megumin.
Megumin.
Yeah.
Well, no, Megumin and Darkness are like
Darkness, well, she's a good person. She just has like a weird fetish.
exactly, but then that's what
And
messes up her a lot.
Yeah.
And then like Megumin is like at some points it's like all about her.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's funny how everyone's out for like themselves
Yeah.
in this anime, like almost like in real life, like you expect them to be like, no, this is my party member, we're gonna stand up for him. They're like, nope, every chance we get to sell him with the river, let's do it.
I know.
and which is the same thing Cosmo does.
Exactly that.
The same thing to everybody. Everyone doesn't get.
Yeah, there was a whole episode of how he tried to get rid of darkness.
That's so great. Or like how he wanted to get rid of Mega Man originally, but she was like, "Well, I'll make you look like a creep even more if you get rid of me now." Oh, strong.
Yeah.
So Kazuma,
Mega Man is my favorite out of the party.
probably out of the party, Mega Man is also my favorite. I think she's the best designed character.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like her little gag of how she could only use it once a day.
Yeah, that's a strong
explosion.
gimmick. Like that's the one thing that like not only is she like a crazy person, is like she can only use explosion magic.
Yeah.
And it's not that she can only use only magic, explosion magic.
She's just stubborn.
She just wants to only do explosion magic.
Yeah.
And I like the fact she's like, yeah, I could do a lot more things, but I want to do explosion magic because I like it, which is commendable.
Yeah.
But it's also like really useless. Like Cosmo points out, like almost immediately, like, oh, if we go into a dungeon, you're useless. We can't even use you. And that's why she's like, oh well,
I'll
carry your
stuff.
gear, carry your stuff for you. Just please. She's like, you don't even have to pay me. She's like, I'll just feed me and house me. Which I never got. Where did
she sleep?
Yeah, where did she sleep? Where did Darkness sleep? I mean, Darkness maybe had some money.
Yeah.
But where did Megumin sleep? She
know.
wasn't in the stables.
Yeah, well, she pretty much fend for herself from that flashback of when she was in school. So she might have been just sleeping in the woods or something. Yeah.
And then we got my second favorite character is Kazuma.
Yeah.
Kazuma is just he's the scum of the earth, and how he's not easily flustered is my favorite part about him. Just like how like he tells it how it is, like really fast.
Oh yeah, straightforward.
Yeah, like he doesn't mince words, and he doesn't joke around a lot, and that's like the strongest of his like jokes.
Yeah, he's quick to call somebody out on something.
Yeah, exactly. Like one of my favorite things is like because he's like what he's parodying is like the obviously the parallel world protagonist or even just anime protagonists in general, where they're like, oh, because he makes a point of like, oh, if you would tell me you like me, or whatever, he's ought to give you a straight up answer immediately.
Yeah,
he's like, I wouldn't be really flustered. He's I'll just give you the answer. And I don't know, like he has a really cocky attitude. Yeah, and I don't know, that's what I really like about him. And then it's Darkness. Darkness is her. I usually hate characters who are based around one joke. Yeah, like that's all the joke is that she's a masochist. She's a masochist. That's it. But it's played up like really well, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah. But that's what kind of sucks. Like, she does have a kind of a deep character. Like, I really like how she was really one-dimensional in the first season. Yeah. Until the end, when she was like, when she actually wanted to protect the town, and Cosmo's like, "Oh, well, you just want to get hit by the walker or the destroyer," and she's like, "Do I seem like that kind of woman that I would do that?" And he goes, Yeah, you do. You seem like you'd be that kind of person. And she's like, well, that's not the point. The point is, I want to protect the city. Yeah. And then, it's just how, like you said, like how the masochist thing is played up very well. Yeah. How like people think that she's being, heroic when like all she wants to do is get hit by things.
Yeah, and I love the commentary that Cosmo was giving when he was hearing all the praise that she was getting.
He's like, sorry, that's not it.
Yeah. Also, and then Aqua. She's hilariously useless. It's pretty freaking hilarious.
Like, I love how she invested her first skills in party tricks. Yeah. Like, if I was Cosmo, I'd be like really mad to start off.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like you have like in Final Fantasy or something, you have like a mage character, and like they end up wanting to be like a dancer or something, like some sort of support character.
exactly, but not even give you like the right support.
I know.
Um,
Because she can use support magic, but she just like doesn't really want to use it.
yeah. She's a weird character, cause like she's totally like her parody of like she's supposed to be the heroine of the series. Like the beautiful goddess is with the person from the parallel world.
Yeah.
Like the easy trope to follow, but nah, she's just a lazy piece of crap.
Yeah.
Who, like, she
likes
doesn't
to
wanna-
drink.
Yeah, likes to drink, likes to do nothing all day.
Mm-hmm.
You have to beg her to do like anything,
Yeah.
and like she's just like
She just wants money.
her and Cosmo are probably like, the worst people
Yeah.
in the party, especially her because like she's supposed to be a goddess,
Mm-hmm.
and like one of my favorite lines, like it's a one-off line where she goes like, when they defeat the Dullahan,
Yeah.
he's like, we need to talk about this, and she goes, oh yeah, since it was my magic, it's 90-10, I should get 90% of the profits. But then when the debt comes, she's like, oh, Cosmo, you can take care of the debt. That's all you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, gosh. No, she goes, we should split the debt evenly.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she wanted to take the rewards
Yeah.
90-10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think she's she gets her comeuppance a lot, I feel.
Yeah.
Like she's a horrible person, and she does. Out of everybody, probably gets her comeuppance the most.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I really like when Kazuma did that lurk ability in the dungeon and
just left her behind.
Yeah.
That's
And
horrible.
after he realized it was her presence that was attracting all the undead.
My favorite Aqua moment is the cage,
Oh yeah.
and then she's like, so you can come out of the cage now, and she's like, no, it's safe inside the cage. The outside world's so scary.
Yeah.
And then as they're dragging her through town, she's just singing that super sad song to herself.
Yeah.
And Cosmo being like, stop. We're in town now. People are going to think that we're
Abusing you. or
abusing you, exactly. And then she goes, you're a goddess. And then just like how the fact, he's like, you're a goddess, aren't you? She goes, oh yeah. And then just like shrugs it off.
Another character that I really liked was Wiz.
Oh, I want more of Wiz. I really love. I don't think she's underused because she does get a lot of spotlight.
Yeah.
Especially in the last season.
Mm-hmm.
But she's really, really cool, and I would love to see her. I would love to see a side story of her when she was human before she got.
Oh yeah,
turned.
with her like adventures and such.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
One of the strongest characters, and like I like how she's played as like a ditzy, like she's like a ditzy moe character.
Yeah.
And then she finds out that Hans killed an innocent person, and that's when she gets serious.
Mm-hmm.
And like just to see like how strong her like ice magic actually is, like her ice that I forgot we have to mention that when she does the ice prison against Hans, the really cool shot.
Yeah. It actually really is cool.
I also have Vanier as one of mine.
Oh, the mask
The
guy?
mask guy?
Yeah. He's really cool too.
I just really love how his main goal in life is to create a dungeon so hard and so frustrating that when you get to him and finally beat him in a long boss battle, that you get trolled at the end and there's nothing.
That's all funny.
Exactly, and that's like his greatest fetish in life is to cause somebody that much misery.
Yeah. And I like that he becomes a shop owner.
Yeah, he becomes
well, not the shop owner. That's like the assistant
manager, but he's the one who's trying to get Wiz to actually make a profit.
Yeah, because the harder she tries, the worse she does in profit, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like
she bought those portable toilet things.
Yeah,
whatever.
but they make so much noise that it attracts enemies.
Mm-hmm.
attracts animals to you. And it had like a bunch of stupid side effects. It was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Didn't it do something to your pee when it was inside or something?
something. I don't remember what
I don't
it was.
remember what
But
it was.
it was like really complex. And he's like, well, just leave. Here, take this with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last person I have on mine is the guild mistress.
Oh yeah.
Uh, she's just really funny and like really cute.
Yeah.
Like I remember like when she's describing the runners, she's like moving her hands like she's running.
Yeah.
And then there's also when everybody's like turning their back on Kazuma,
Mm-hmm.
and like he runs out of people to look at, and he looks like at the guild mistress, and
Oh,
she's like, "Oh, it's a little dusty over here," and she just starts cleaning.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah. Do you have any other characters on your?
No, I pretty much just had the main cast and Wiz.
It's full of strong. I also want to give a whole shout out. I feel like it is one character, but it's the whole Axis cult.
Oh yeah.
I know that's in our favorite episodes, but just it's those people are really overbearing, and it's freaking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And like it describes, like, yeah, followers of Aqua would be like that.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then I love in the last episode they're talking about how they're doing like their creed,
Oh yeah.
and
It's like a bunch of nonsense.
well, it's like, yeah, it's okay to run away if you're,
Mhm.
sometimes winning means that you'd run away,
Yeah.
and then like, I think it's like, oh, if you fail, it's not your fault. It's society's fault that you failed. Oh my goodness. Strong.
Yeah, she would make stuff like that.
Exactly.
And then the final one was Eris pads her bra or something
Yeah,
like
Aries
that.
pads her bra. By the way, I don't mind that it's padded at all.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you have for underused characters?
I have Chris.
Chris?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have liked to see more of her.
That's fair, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I
I mean, she only, like you said, she only teaches the steel technique, and that's pretty much all.
Too much, and then she gets her panties stolen every so
Yeah.
often.
And she's Darkness's first friend.
Yeah, that's also a detail I forgot, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And which they bring up too, like her dad brings up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that thief girl.
Mm-hmm.
So I have two. One is Megumin's sister. I really would have loved to see more of her.
Megumin's sister.
Exactly. She's in the flashbacks in
Oh
Union.
yeah.
And when they see the most embarrassing moments,
Yeah.
you see her little sister for like maybe 10 seconds
Yeah.
throughout the whole series. And I know there's a lot more to her than
Meets the eye.
well, not more meets the eye, but I really want to see more of her
Okay.
because she has a lot to do with my second underused character,
Okay.
which is Chomsky,
The cat.
the cat. Yes, the cat.
Really?
She has a lot to do with that cat, and the cat has a really cool backstory to her too.
Wow.
I don't know if you want me to share it with you off mic, but
Yeah. Maybe later.
that cat's really really interesting, and we don't really get a
Explanation.
explanation of what the cat is actually.
Okay.
And I love I wanted to put the cat as one of my favorite characters because that cat is awesome.
It's like playing with Wiz's boobs.
Playing with his boobs, or like when Megumin is outside of the Kel's dungeon,
Uh-huh.
and she's practicing explosion magic on it,
Oh
and
yeah.
the cat just wow and falls back. Oh, I also want to mention one of my favorite Megumin gags that they do twice is when she's just using her explosion magic on the Dullahan's castle,
Uh-huh.
and it just starts like they starts off with explosion, and the next one is lotion, and then Jean, and it just
Yeah.
gets shorter and shorter as it goes.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I love that joke, and
Yeah.
just of and just her and Kazuma walking to go do the explosions.
Mm-hmm.
The explosion, bum bum bum.
Oh yeah.
Just singing. It's great. I also love. I know this is like I'm turning into like the gag segment, but
Yeah.
one of my favorite gags in there also is in the OVA, where Kazuma's explaining like, oh, uh, yeah, we should go to favorite episodes.
Okay.
So, I didn't write it down as mine, but now that I'm talking about it, it really is one of my favorite episodes. Is the OVA with the caller.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes and tells Megumin. Well, my favorite part is like he thinks he's dead, so he's like, "Oh well, let me explain. Like I don't want any regrets left in my life." So he's telling everybody what he really thinks about him.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite ones is the first one he says, and he goes, "Yeah, when you were passed out after explosion magic, I used to adjust you so I could feel your flat chest on my back." And then the other one is like, "Oh, he's all Wiz and Union." He's like, "Every time I talk to you, I'll just stare at your breasts."
That's all you are to me. Just boobs.
He's like, "You're just boobs." He's and so Union's boobs are her dress makes it so you can see more, and Wiz's boobs are just enormously big. He's like, "I used to think it's your fault that I do this." Which leads more of like why he's so scum.
Yeah.
And then him smelling Aqua's hair.
Oh yeah.
And and then him just seeing Darkness's boobs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, it's hilarious.
His confession to Aqua was that he never really saw her as a heroine, right?
But yeah, like he tried really hard. She's like, "Oh, you're cute," but he just couldn't see her as a love interest.
Yeah.
Oh. And then so what's one of your favorite episodes?
So my first one is it's called A Friend for This Crimson Demon Girl.
Really, really strong episode.
Yeah, this is the episode where they introduce Yun.
They also introduce Chomsuke in this episode.
Oh, the kitty cat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that whole thing was hilarious. The bath scene was really funny.
Oh my goodness, and like
they're just deciding like who takes a bath first, and then Kazuma like drops the gender equality. Gender equality. Like, oh, I yearn for the day that gender equality
is. That's really funny because like, so when he talks about gender equality in the first time like I mentioned earlier, like the drop kicking women. Like it's played off more as a joke, but then like he actually like makes sense when he talks about that gender equality in that sense.
Yeah,
because I really hate when people want to be a woman when it's convenient to them.
Oh yeah, the whole like, haven't you ever heard of ladies first?
Yeah,
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all.
But then again, he always mentions that stuff when it's for his benefit.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's just as bad as what he's
preaching
saying,
about.
Yeah, which is do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, and then they end up taking a bath together.
I know,
which is kind of weird.
I like how Megumin's like thinks that she got some like, oh, why don't we just take a bath together? Then he's like, okay, so sure.
Yeah, like he has no problem with that.
And then
there's the friendship crystal thing.
Oh yeah,
showing all the past things of Union playing chess by herself. That's so sad.
Birthday party by herself.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
One of my favorite things about Union, I don't know why Union wasn't one of our favorite characters.
She is now.
She is a really strong character, a really funny character. Where I really love all the after credits or after all the post credit scenes.
Yeah,
or like her writing to her family. Or like her writing to her friends about how she has friends now, and I think the last couple ones are like her saying like, "No, don't come to the town, it's fine." Or like I think the one before that, those ones are like, "Oh, stop saying I don't have friends. It's really mean and it hurts my feelings."
Yeah.
And the next one is something like, "Oh no, don't trouble yourself coming here. Like, don't worry about it. Just believe me." And then I think the last one is like, "All right, I know you guys have said you're almost here. The town's being ravaged by, it was like earthquakes and tornadoes and the Devil King's attacking. So please don't don't come here. It's not safe.
Yeah.
Very, very, very strong.
Mm-hmm.
I also have my favorite episode. My straight up just number one favorite episode is Blessings on This Wonderful Shop.
Yeah.
And there's so much to dive into this episode, like what makes it funny.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the succubus episode.
Yeah.
And like one of my favorite gags in that one is as Kazuma he's asking questions of the limits of the succubus.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, well, what about the age? Does the age matter? And she's like, and you can see she's visibly getting really annoyed of all the questions he's asking. And oh god, and then just like the whole climax of the episode of him thinking darkness is part of the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, classic. Just like she opens the door and he's just sitting
like,
there.
What's up?
Yeah, exactly. He's all, yo. Oh my god. And then the poor succubus. This makes me sad. She's like, I'm sorry. She's like, my inexperience led me to get caught.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Also a really strong thing I feel. So originally when I watched this anime, I watched like the first season and then watched the second season like in order. Not in order, but like with the year gap.
Okay.
I feel that it is a way better experience to watch them all in a row because of the referencing back to
oh yeah
the other one.
Yeah, because with a year gap, then you're gonna bound to forget stuff.
Exactly. Like there's a moment where Darkness tells him, I forgot, he tells Silson the Darkness in the second season, and like he's like, oh yeah, like talking about like the succubus, talking about that episode. And she goes, wait, did you actually remember? And like and he like kind of rolls over it.
Yeah. He like kind of ignores it.
Yeah. I also have an explosion for this Chunibyo. That's the episode where they introduce Megumin.
That's the second episode.
The second episode. Very, very strong episode.
Mm-hmm.
Introduces like our favorite character.
Yeah. And
does it in a really cool way. And it's also the introduction of the frogs.
Oh yeah, that running gag.
Yeah, and even that's the first time we see the God blow.
Oh yeah.
And then she's like, it's the power of a goddess's embarrassment and whatever. Like the goddess's scorn and embarrassment, no single blow, and it just does nothing twice. How about you had another one, right?
I have one more. This is sightseeing in a pitiful town.
Oh, so this is the one I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. So it starts off with those like ostrich things and them being attacked by it, and then we later find out it was because of
Darkness's armor. And then like Kazuma like refusing the award, or not the award, the reward.
Yeah.
The
payment.
And then
and then zombies attack.
The zombies attack because of Aqua.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for Wiz in there because it's like she gets caught up in the giant blessing.
Oh yeah.
And then the only one who sees her is Darkness. She goes, "Hey everybody, Wiz is disappearing."
Yeah, poor Wiz.
Oh my god. And then I don't know if it happens in that. I think it happens in the next episode where she's like, Aqua's crying, and she's like, "Please, Aqua, stop crying. Your tears hurt when they hit me.
They feel it makes me all tingly."
Oh my god.
But what is it, tingly in Japanese? Piri piri or
something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my! So one of my favorite. So I feel the strength in a gag is if you can see it coming and you still laugh, it's super strong.
Yeah.
So I was telling you about earlier where the whole gimmick of that town is everybody's trying to get you to sign up for the Axis cult.
Yeah, to convert.
Yeah, and they just have stupid scams to try. Like one of my favorite ones is the girl being like, "Oh hey you remember me?
We used to be in high school together.
I really changed since I joined the Axis Guild. I bet you didn't even notice." It's that, or like the woman getting her purse stolen.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, if you sign up for the Axis Guild, you'll get terrified and leave my bag and just run away." There's also like the first one they meet is when he drops the apples.
Oh
helps her pick
yeah.
up the apples. And she's like, let me repay you, but then you join the Axis Guild.
Mhm.
But
There's a cafe over there that we can talk about it.
so the one that made me just like, because I was already, when I first seen this episode, I was just laughing,
Yeah.
laughing myself hoarse basically. And then the little girl, they see the little girl, and I was like, no, please don't let this be a trick. So I was laughing the whole time as like this, she's giving this spiel of like, oh hi Oni-chan, what's your name? And he's Kazuma, and what's her name? He's, and this he calls her, he goes, whatever is darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, oh Kazuma, how do you spell that? Can you write it down for me? He's like, yeah, sure. And he looks down on it, and
it's the conversion
it's
paper.
the conversion paper. Oh my god! And then it's just like the jizz to like grim, and like he like it shows like a POV of him looking at the paper, then him putting the paper down.
Yeah.
And you see the girl with just like blank eyes. Also, one of my favorite gags in there is like, oh no, like Darkness going, oh no, he's, I'm in the Eris Guild, so Eris cult. So if you're gonna convert him, you have to go through me. And then they give her that dirty look, and they just spit.
Yeah.
And like it just keeps going and going.
Yeah.
And then just like,
doesn't like the whole mob like spit at one time?
I don't remember. The one that I really love of that one is in the next episode. Like, oh yeah, your friend's getting pelted by rocks. And it's just the kids throwing rocks at her.
Yeah. And it's made to look. It makes you like think that she's like in pain and like suffering, but when you turn the camera like pans into her face, and she's actually enjoying it.
She's like, I know, so Cosmo, can we move here?
Yeah.
Gosh dang it.
I think in the sightseeing episode, I think they Cosmo was saying like he wanted to like stay in for the next day. And she was like, oh, I think I'm going to go like look at more of the sightseeing stuff.
With her pendant just out.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Strong. I also have the very first episode.
Oh, yeah. Very strong
very,
episode.
very good opening to an anime. The first, 10 minutes are, really, really strong.
Yeah.
Of just finding out Aqua is a scum also, and so is Kazuma. And at that point, I don't know, you probably don't feel that Cosmo's that much scum. You feel more sorry for him that he's in that situation.
Yeah, of how he got there.
Exactly, and just how he thought he was saving some girl's life, and turns out she was in no immediate danger whatsoever.
Yeah, and he died from the shock of it.
Yeah, of thinking that he got hit by a car.
Yeah. I mean, the farmer even waved at the girl.
Yeah, he's seen her. That's my favorite detail in that scene too. Because they don't really point it out that he saw her.
Yeah.
But you see visually he waved at her and seen her coming.
Yeah.
So he wasn't even gonna hit her even to begin with. Oh, strong. Do you have any other favorite?
Oh, that's all I really have.
So
do you have another one?
That's so much I mean, we could talk about any episode here. Yeah. And it's really, 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 all of them are really funny.
Yeah.
I feel. Even my least favorite episode,
yeah,
it's really funny. I think I went into it being I remember this being my least favorite episode, but it was still pretty funny. I still had a good time.
Yeah, and even the one that I picked, it's just because of my least favorite characters in it. That's
okay.
Pretty much
really?
So you already know what episode it is.
Yeah, so it's the what is that episode called?
It is called A Price for a Cursed Sword.
Yeah, I really love not even the comeuppance in the episode, but just that that's the whole cage, cage gimmick. That whole first half of the episode's hilarious.
Yeah.
Him just completely destroying Mitsurugi.
Stealing his sword and then selling it.
Yeah, exactly. Then selling it.
We're talking about it like it's my favorite episode, but
yeah, it's weird. It's I see. It's
I just don't like the guy. Everything else is fine with that episode.
Yeah, I feel we've had that before where it's I
don't really like his two followers either.
His two girlfriends, basically. That's why he's supposed to be his parody is he's supposed to be what Kazuma was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like a hero who gets fawned over by all these girls and
Yeah.
the ultimate hero.
Yeah. Even when he makes his like cameo in the OVA, like the girl that's supposed to be fawning over Kazuma
Starts fawning over him
yeah.
immediately.
hmm
And then my favorite, or at least favorite episode is, I didn't even write down the episode name because it was too long. It was the last episode in season 1.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
I think I mentioned it before. I really dislike when animes just have like kind of abrupt endings,
Okay, yeah.
like an unearned climax.
Yeah.
And I felt like that is an unearned. It's almost like an unearned. Even though, like I said, they did a pretty good job of letting you know about the destroyer early on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, oh well, here's
The big bad
a
guy.
last obstacle you got to get over in the last episode.
Yeah.
Like I really didn't enjoy that, especially when the series is like it's slow paced, and it's like I really like that slow pace. And all of a sudden they just like, well, deal with this now. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I just didn't really like it. But like I said, it's still a really, really strong episode.
Yeah. And you find out the origin of the destroyer. It was like some old guy that like asked for some sort of like rare mythical item, and they actually got it for
him. Exactly. So me and you were watching the OVA, and when that twist came up,
Yeah.
because I was like, I didn't mention it, but we were watching, but I was like, why is this? They keep on showing his hair falling out. I'm all, is this somebody we know? And then like they finally show him at the end, and I was like, yo.
Yeah, it was a really nice twist.
That was a great twist.
Yeah.
So
So if
like,
you're gonna watch this anime, you should watch the OVAs as well.
the OVAs are really, really strong.
Yeah. A lot of the times we skip it, but for this one, I definitely recommend you watch the OVAs.
Yeah, exactly. So you have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Not really. It's just a good comedy anime. Very, very good.
So I've heard this famous quote. I think it's from Mel Brooks, but don't hold
Don't
it
quote
on,
you.
Yeah,
Don't quote you on the quote.
Yeah, exactly. But the gist of the quote is that a great parody will succeed in spite of its source material.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just can take the parody part of the comedy and it's still funny,
Yeah.
it's great. And I feel like Konosuba is that like landmark of parody.
Yeah.
But
I think you mentioned this before. Another quote that if you can't tell it's a parody,
yeah,
then
it's essentially the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
if you can't tell it's a parody, then you succeed.
Yeah.
And like what I was talking about earlier with you before we started, like you have a very vague idea what isekai is.
Yeah. The only sword art is the only one that I've seen.
It's kind of like isekai.
Yeah.
It really started the genre more. But I bet once we start doing more isekai, and the more you get familiar with it,
Yeah.
like you can see how Aqua's supposed to be oh no, you've watched isekai before. It just wasn't in there. Like How to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon is
yeah.
is a isekai.
That's a isekai, yeah.
And like what's her name? The girl with the blue ribbon on her boobs.
From that anime?
Yeah, from that anime.
It's been a
But
while.
you know what I'm talking about, though,
Yeah.
right? That character, like how she's like a goddess or whatever.
Mhm.
That's who like Aqua's making. That character right there. It's exactly who Aqua's a parody of.
Yeah.
And then Cosmo, you can just totally tell, is a parody of just main characters.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Darkness is a parody of like Noble Knights,
Yeah.
and like just like in her depravity is also like a really noble knight.
Mm-hmm.
Megumin is I guess like the mage archetype,
Yeah.
but just that she's only focused on one spell,
Mm-hmm.
and like she's supposed to be this all powerful wizard, but she can only do one move and then
She's useless.
she's useless. Exactly. I feel more context, like the more context you have with it, the better time you'll have.
Yeah.
But even if you don't have any context with it whatsoever, it's still pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know, like, cause like I have a friend who like he likes Konosuba, but he hates Aqua, and I was like, that's the
point.
the point. The point
Yeah.
is you're not supposed to like this character. So accessibility.
I mean, it's a comedy, so it's easy to get into, but there is a bunch of vulgar language, and there's a lot of sexual situations.
Yeah, exactly.
So it might not be for everybody, but if you're okay with that, it's a pretty easy watch.
Exactly. And then you can get it on Crunchyroll.
The OVAs are a bit harder to find.
Yeah.
I think one of them was on YouTube.
One of them was on YouTube. The other one was illegal means.
Yeah.
But people know how to find it. People who want to find it can find it.
Yeah, exactly.
Rewatchability
I would
really
watch.
high.
Yeah, I would watch it again.
This is like probably my second or third time watching it.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, if I get more familiar with like the isekai stuff, then I'm sure I'll get a lot more out of
it.
Yeah. Even though I did really enjoy it.
Right. Even though you already got a lot out of it now.
Yeah.
The changes we make.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
This is one of those ones where I'm not sure. Like, production was really high.
Yeah.
I feel. I don't know. I don't know what I would.
There's only like the typical things like more spotlight for the minor characters, I guess.
Yeah.
But then the main cast is very great, so I don't know if I'd really want more of.
I want more.
Chris
I
or
want
something.
more seasons.
Oh yeah.
That's all I want. And hopefully we'll get them.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get the spin-offs too.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be so happy. All right. Moment of truth, Jay.
The rating.
The rating.
I think this is about the same as like a Haikyuu, like not a high recommend
Like a
for
mid
me at
for you.
least.
Yeah.
It's not a flat recommend. It's kind of in the middle of those two.
I would personally, if giving the so what are the disclaimers of like all that, like of it has a lot of like not a lot of ichi humor, but there's some ichi humor, some whatever. But if it sounds like it's up your alley, it's a high recommendation.
Yeah. I can see that.
I would give it. I'm giving it a high recommendation. Like I would. Well, I guess how we do our recommendations here, it's like a general sense.
Yeah.
So I would just give it where you were saying like, it's not quite a high recommendation, but it's not quite just a flat neutral recommendation.
Yeah.
Like it's in between.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if you're tired of the isekai genre. And or even if you love the isekai genre,
yeah,
you should check this one out for sure.
Definitely.
All right, Jay. So now that we're packed up, done with our explosion magics,
we used up all our MP.
Exactly. Where are we taking us next?
Okay, so I feel like we've been watching a lot of like anime with like a lot of episodes, so I kind of want to take a little breather and watch an anime with it only has 6 episodes in this.
Oh, okay.
So it's a very easy watch. Well, we'll see if it's an easy watch. I think this is a romantic movie, anime. I'm not really sure, but it's called Looking Up at the Half Moon. Have you ever heard of this anime? So the basic premise is it has to be a romantic anime. It's the guy gets hurt. He goes to a hospital. He finds some girl, and he later finds out she's like terminally ill or something like that.
It's only 6 episodes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's something like that. So it might be sad, Aaron. I don't know if you're ready for a sad anime.
Where can we find it?
It's on Crunchyroll.
Okay.
So easy to find.
All right.
So that's the podcast.
So I know we had a great time this week. Tomorrow, come back with some tissues, I guess.
Yeah, I know, right?
So yeah, so like Jay said, that was the podcast. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, if you like us, leave a like, give us a heart on SoundCloud, follow us on SoundCloud.
Subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah, we're finally doing stuff on there.
Yep, and I'm very excited for our next episode today.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Rate us on iTunes. Give us a high
5
rating.
stars.
Yeah,
5-star rating. Comment.
Yeah, give us a comment on any platform.
Yeah. Really, I've been looking at the numbers of some, and I'm really excited for our really excited on our iTunes one.
Really?
I don't know if you've checked them recently,
No,
but
I haven't.
Yeah, it was a good idea to go on iTunes. Well, with that, thank you guys. Hopefully
Yeah,
we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.